Hello. So I spoke with you last, it was 5 days ago? Okay. And you told me over the phone that that Russell Roper never filed an investigative report.
I didn't talk to you over the phone.
Somebody talked to me over the phone.
Okay, anyways.
So if I submitted the paperwork to you, somebody called me. This is frustrating because if I'm trying to talk to one officer and then I get a phone call from a different officer and now I'm thinking that I'm talking to the officer that I was talking to that I'm not, I can't confirm anything.
Sorry, you're confused.
I'm sorry, I feel like I'm intentionally being confused. So I'm here to file another public records request for the same incidents, the same year, a few different names. There's a few other people involved. I'm here to ask if you guys have a case number for this investigation yet?
For which investigation?
For the investigation that's currently going on with regards to the criminal negligent death of Samantha Kimberly Parker. I have evidence that I'm here to present to you today. Here is a rundown.
So, let me see your...
There was crimes that were committed, not singular, but plural crimes that were committed. So there is that. This one is for the Montpelier City Police. I've got one for the mayor and one for the sheriff's office. This is my request for more records. If I can get a copy of that back, please. I want everything that took place during this investigation. I'm being told that there is nothing, so I'm asking for everything. All the names that are on there, all inclusively, because apparently what I know, you guys don't know. And what I can prove, you guys apparently think doesn't exist. So I'm prepared. I'm here, these are my statements. I'm here, you guys can make a report, and I'm not going to use, I don't know your magical words, I'm a layman. So I'm going to explain it and express it, and I'm more well written than I am spoken, so I hope you can understand that. And especially the things and frustrations that I've gone through that have permanently injured me. So, I mean, as far as victims go, like what's your definition of a victim?
Definition of a victim?
Mm-hmm. How do you guys identify if somebody's a victim?
I'm not exactly sure what you're asking. So, here's the problem, is I don't understand what you're asking for, which report specifically you're asking for. There's multiple reports, so there's a lot of reports involving Samantha Blackburn that we have to go back through, and so I'm trying to answer as many questions and give you the information that you're requesting, because it is, I mean, whatever I can give to you, I will give to you. I'm not trying to hide anything or anything from you, but I don't understand, like a lot of times what you're saying doesn't make sense to me as far as what specific report you're asking for.
Well,
so before you did fill out the public records request, and I gave you the entire report.
So what I got was Officer Marks's report, and that's it. That's all I got.
So you need more
I need
for that incident?
Yeah, I need every.
There is no other information on that incident specifically.
There is no other information on that incident specifically.
Not on that incident. That's what I'm saying.
How am I supposed to ask for something that I don't know what the magic words are? So for instance,
I'm not sure. So if you can tell me
right here, so
the incident you're looking for, I'll try to get that information for you.
What I'm looking for is, okay, so Russell Roper conducted an investigation.
Okay.
He spoke with...
Investigation of what? So I mean, he's conducted multiple investigations. So yeah, I mean, go ahead and finish.
So that's what this explains, and you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna make sure that you guys have received this. So I have this.
Okay, we're not gonna. I don't know what that is.
This is a Bluetooth speaker. It's just a speaker. And I'm gonna play an audio recording of the interview that Russell Roper had with me.
Do you want to go back to the lobby?
Yeah, if you have a room we can go to, that would be lovely.
Oh, great.
Do you know when the county commissioner meeting starts?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yep, that's the county. I work for the city. I don't
Okay, but I thought-
contract the county.
I thought they had that here.
They have city council meetings here, but there's no county.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking. Like, and forgive me because for the past, since this is back on my mind again, because last time I tried to report this and request this information, I never got it, and eventually it ended up in my life being threatened.
Okay.
But
Well, like I said, I mean, I will share as much information as I possibly can
I
with you.
do, yeah. And
The
if,
problem is I need to know what you're looking for.
Okay,
Does that
so
make sense?
if you can have this paper in front of you that I typed up, it's kind of a transcript of the recording we're going to be listening to.
Okay. So is this the same recording that you've had on your Facebook page?
Yeah. If
Okay,
you've
I've seen it. So I mean, you can play it again if you want. If not, that's fine.
Which one are you referring to?
I don't know. There's a recording of you and Chief Roper talking.
So, what do you know about that recording?
I know it looks like that recording was done after Samantha passed away and you had met with Roper and discussed the case.
Yeah, Roper had met with me. He requested. So I had been a pallbearer at her funeral that day.
Okay.
So I wish I had the dates in front of me because I didn't bring all the papers. But so what it is. So yeah, I am here so we can have a comprehensive understanding of it, and I'm not going to try to blast you out.
When's the funeral today?
Went to a funeral
Pretty
today.
sad.
Yeah.
What I wanted to ask you about was, I guess the cops came over on Monday, Sunday or Monday morning or something. When you were there.
Sunday or Monday? No, this was last Thursday or Friday.
So the time is not really in dispute anymore. Whenever you guys say it was, that's fine.
And there was one
Yeah, the report that we had showed the date and stuff on it that I gave to you already.
No, late.
Around midnight-ish?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's one on it started with M. Mike, maybe?
Marks.
Marks. That's
Yeah, that's
it. And I had a question I wanted to ask you as
Okay.
well. About, I don't know, why was Officer Marks there? What was Officer Marks's goal by being there?
We got a call from someone who said they were worried about Sammy, told us to go check her welfare. What that means, I don't know, that's all they said.
Doesn't know what that means.
So he went over, and what we usually do in those cases, go over, talk to them, and have conversations, see what's going on, see if they say or do anything that's alarming or concerning. As I said, we didn't see anything.
He didn't.
Did you?
She was blackout drunk.
Because that's what I'm concerned about.
She was completely blackout drunk. Here's, from my perspective, this is kind of the story of what happened. She wound up walking the streets and I was trying to look for her. I was on foot trying to look for her. And she wound up going back home. Her friend that lived above stairs, I wound up taking her there. So I showed up, I drove up, and then Sammy comes up to the car and asks me if I can go talk to her with this officer. And I said, I'm going home. I wanted to go home. I didn't want to talk to an officer. I didn't want to.
Right.
She talked me into it. I got out of the car, went and sat down with her and Officer Marks. And the first thing she says was, can I have my beer back? And I said, did you really just ask him for your beer back? And he said, well, we're making progress. I didn't know what he meant by that. He said they were making progress. So the only thing he was there doing was trying to tell a person who was completely blackout drunk to dump their beer on the ground and he wouldn't take her to jail.
Yeah, I heard that too. Chandra told me that.
Chandra told Roper
Chandra said
Samantha was drunk.
She
It was just me, the officer, and Samantha.
I told Roper Samantha was drunk.
I'll be honest, I'm pissed that the cop did that. I mean, that's not what we do. If you're on felony probation and you're drinking a beer, you took a risk.
She should have been locked
You
up,
got
I
caught.
think.
Yeah.
I would be better on my.
She was on felony probation.
I feel.
Wouldn't that have been better?
I feel like, I mean, either if I wouldn't have been there, I think the reason why he let her go is that I was there, and I'm a pretty good people person. I kept changing the subject on her. She couldn't stay focused, and so what I did is I wore her out, her brain out, making her think about things. Your brain uses 20% of the energy consumed by your body. And so if you can get your mind to turn the wheels a lot, you'll get tired much faster. So yeah, I was kind of playing around with her. I asked her if I could wear her hat. I put her hat on my head, and then she kind of passed out and did this for a minute or two. And then I sit her back up, and she says, "Where am I? Who are you?" She did that 3 or 4 times. She wasn't in a position to make choices.
Was the cop there at the time?
Yeah, he was there the whole time.
Mark was there the whole time.
She wasn't in a position to make choices. I went inside. I said, "You want some water? You want some juice?" She said, "No, I'll probably just throw it up." What did I do? I wound up going inside. I grabbed her some juice. I asked, said it came out and said, "Hey, this is the juice you wanted me to get for you. Here, have a drink." And so she took a few drinks. I kind of gave her a few drinks, and then she swallowed them, had a clean mouth, spit a few times, and so yeah, I got her to drink almost a cup of juice. And then I hadn't been drinking that night. I love driving, so I like to drive, and so I'm hardly ever drink any alcohol at all.
So I read his report, and there wasn't any indication at all about alcohol.
Mark said there was no alcohol that night.
He had her beer the whole time, and all he wanted her to do was dump it on the ground, and I was trying to convince her that seemed like a pretty fair offer. At the time, either you have to go to jail or dump a half a beer. All you have to do. What I did is I found out what she wanted. You have to find out what people want. And she wanted, and I asked her, "What do you want? What do you want?" She's like, I want to be my mom's kid. No, I want to be my kid's mother. And that's all she wanted. She was just, and I mean, the officer, he's I don't know, he's kind of trying to do.
I don't mind the officer having compassion and looking at different options on how to handle the situation. I don't think that was the best. And then he told me that there was no.
Yeah.
Once again, we were saying, Mark said there was no alcohol there that night.
There was a bottle of alcohol there. It was about almost.
I'm saying
I didn't never pick it up or hold it.
Chandri's saying there was.
But there was beer in it, and she didn't wind up dumping it out. The only reason why he left is because I was there sober, and he asked me if I would stay there that night with her, and I said, and I was like, well, yes, I guess. I was kind of put on the spot, but if that's the options, then I know she'll be okay. And I stayed there. I helped her. I took her to the bathroom. I helped her use the bathroom. I put her on her bed, and I made a bed on the floor right next to her, and I was up half the night. I put a Band-Aid on her wrist. She cut herself, and
Was her mom there?
her mom was there. Her mom was asleep. It was pretty late.
And when her mom's asleep, she's asleep.
She's pretty heavily medicated.
Yeah.
I got up the next morning, and I saw her husband who lives upstairs. I saw him. I said, "Hey, the only reason why she's not in jail or prison right now is because the officer let her go because I was there last night.
Okay.
Because I was there, and I don't think. I mean, for me a little bit, it's like I've just been so tired from working my job all the time. I'm always tired. I don't have the energy to do a lot of different things. So I feel like it wouldn't have really mattered either way what I did. If I would have not intervened at all, then I mean, she'd probably be better off. Or if I would have, she called me up the day before, and she died, and she was just begging me to come up and see her. She wanted me to come up and see her, so she had to know. I told her I was working, I'm tired. I promise I'll come see you this weekend. You know, just, and
Well, I'm disappointed in that. The way it came to my attention was the person who called, got a hold of me and said, what the hell? She was completely intoxicated. I sent the cops over and nothing.
So we found out it was
the other
second
thing is
call.
that, I mean, I don't live there, I'm not, but I said, you know, hey, I was walking her inside and I carried her down the steps, and I said, yeah, if you could bring by a card or whatever, you know, just trying to give us the contact information, but I mean, once I realized that she was completely blackout drunk, it was kind of a weird conversation. It was like trying to have a conversation with almost nobody, because I wasn't there to really talk to anybody. I was just there to help her. I feel like I feel like, and I'm not out to like hurt anybody or ruin anybody's lives, or I'm not out to. I mean, the reason why I'm here is to talk about what what I went through and what I've seen, and that's what I'm doing. So I feel like I don't understand why he was there. It seemed like he wasn't being a police officer, if that's what he was supposed to be. It seemed like he was like only a psychological counselor or something, which
There's a lot of times where I indicate that what happened was wrong. What happened on Mark's part was wrong. I didn't feel like it was.
Improve their skills, improve their abilities. You know, if they made a mistake, then you gotta deal with it. So I wish he would have interviewed. Like I said, I'm okay with having some compassion and common sense, but
yeah.
she seemed quite vulnerable, obviously.
I talked to her the night before she died. She said she had to go see her PO the next day.
Yeah.
I said, that's good. You know, she's telling me she's been drinking ever since that one night. Ever since that one night she had the first alcohol. I don't know where she got it. She didn't get it from me. I don't know. That's kind of what I want to know is who.
Yeah.
The thing is if he was there to protect and serve, how is it she was still getting such massive quantities of alcohol? Or, you know, I don't understand that. How was it that? How is it? I mean, I wasn't around. How is it that?
Well, I got the call that morning. I got the call that went over to her house that morning and talked to Kim and lots of witnesses and neighbors and friends. And, you know, Sammy, I got along with her really well. One of the few cops who got along with her well, I treated her with respect. She made comments about not wanting to live this way, or she made those comments all the time. I don't know if any person could have done something that could have been different. Other than maybe cops. That's that makes me sad. Because sometimes you.
Well, I feel like maybe me. Like I was in that position. If I wasn't so tired from work, I would have came up randomly like Wednesday or Thursday night, and I would have seen her. And I wanted to go. The first time I came up and saw her, I wanted to go. I was with my friend. He's like, let's go watch the sunset. I was like, I asked her, let's go watch the sunset. I just wanted. But she didn't want to do anything. She just wanted to either just run away, or all she wanted was her kids. She didn't have very many options at all.
You know, she was really struggling, and I think that's the problem that she was having psychologically, was she's struggling with giving up her child for adoption.
Yeah.
It was really, really tough.
And I didn't even know about that until she called me up and told me she'd given her daughter up for adoption.
And then her PO told her to report to Pocatello, and that was for a treatment program. They were going to put her back in prison. And she knew that. So I don't know that anybody could have done. Sammy lived a dark life for a long, long time. She was in a dark place her whole life.
It seems like I've known her for like around 11 years or so, and the whole time I've been trying to stop her from killing herself, and the whole time she's been trying to figure out how to do it.
The writings in her journal just were dark and suicidal, and they've been that way every day for as long as we've known it. So I don't know if there's a good red flag that somebody should have seen.
If anybody would have saw it, it would have been me.
No, don't be too hard on yourself. It is what it is. Our lives go on, she never cares, but the best service we can do for her is to live ours the best we can and stay here and help other people as much as we
Yeah,
can.
that's true. And I've studied like philosophy and psychology and other things, and I've always tried to tell her good things. You know, you put good things into your brain, you'll have good things come out of your mouth, and just all this positive encouragement. Everything that I knew, I tried telling her, like. And sometimes she thought I was just trying to change her and make her be like me. But really all I was doing was just telling her like a universal truth, you know, 1 + 1 = 2. It's that simple, you know, you can either accept that or not. But I was always kind about it. I was just,
Yeah. No, don't be too hard on yourself, Isaiah. I'm glad you called me back. It's my pleasure to meet you. We'll just go forward with our eyes best we
okay.
can.
Thank you for meeting me. I didn't want to talk on the phone.
That's what we should come on.
Thank you.
So, what we have is Chandry saying Samantha was drunk. I didn't tell Chandry. I'm saying Samantha was drunk. Zach saying Samantha was drunk, or whoever Roper had allegedly talked to. So, how is it that there's 3 witnesses from the public saying that she was on probation, in violation of her probation, drunk, a danger to herself? She'd been locked up and incarcerated her entire life, most of her life, for a long time. Every time they'd, you know, put her in, what do they call it when you're suicidal or whatever, a burrito or whatever, you know, the anti-suicidal room or whatever, the padded room, or I don't know, the straitjacket, so she wouldn't hurt herself. So how is it that the police had so much knowledge and so much information, and yet, and so Roper found out from 3 different people, at least 3 different, there's a lot of, I mean, you really kind of got to listen to this with headphones because you have the vacuum going on in the background, but there's a lot of things. Basically, it kind of covers, I feel like he interviewed me last, so obviously he'd already talked to Chandry, obviously he'd already talked to a lot of other people in the community, he'd already talked to the individual who called it in, which at this point in time, as of 5 days ago, I'm under the belief that it was Zach. So there's 3 people saying that she was drunk and that she was on probation, yet, so officer, and then what? Where is it? The person who got a hold of me, this is Russell Roper, the person who got a hold of me said she was completely intoxicated, I sent the cops over and nothing. So we have 3 witnesses, and we can go question again. So what I'm wondering is where's the statements from the witnesses?
I know.
I mean, if you guys can find them, if they don't exist, then this is something that should have been reported that wasn't reported. It was something that was investigated. So the other thing is I asked Roper to basically give me the findings of his investigation because I wanted to know. I wanted to do a little.
But my question is what investigation are you asking for? Are you asking about this night that you were at the house, that you stayed with him? Because I gave you those reports.
The one report that's omitting information which holds Officer Marks liable for negligence.
I have no idea. I wasn't there. I don't know if it was. I understand that you got
I
this
was
recording.
there, and I was there.
Okay.
So it's basically what my word, Zach's word, Chandry's.
Okay. So is that what I'm asking you is that the report? Is that the incident that you're looking for? Or are you looking for other incidents involving Samantha Blackburn?
No, just this one.
Okay.
Just
so
basically the
under
one
that incident,
from
the only report that I have involving that incident.
So from the time Officer Marks showed up to her house to the time she died, that's the window, and then that's the window I'm looking for.
Okay.
So there was an investigation done by Roper. Roper found there was evidential findings that he could have reported. Statements from witnesses that he could have, should have, would have reported to correct and to do some form of disciplinary action, for the criminal negligence that Officer Mark had carried out. But because Roper didn't, he was also negligent in his actions and behavior for not, what do they call it? And like I said, I don't know all your magical words and terminology. I've been stressed out and awake for almost 5 days now. I don't, so there are victims, there are witnesses. If there is a victim, that is a crime, a criminal crime, not a civil crime, it is a criminal crime.
Okay, so this is what I think you're getting confused about, okay? So you've asked for this incident specifically, right?
Yeah.
Right. But what I'm saying too is that Officer Roper had other investigations going on into Samantha Blackburn because of her death and her other things that you haven't asked for yet. Okay? So what I'm saying, and that's why I've asked you, I think 3 times since you've been here, or 4 times, are you asking for this specific incident, or are you asking for additional people or additional information into the death? Because what happened was this interview that you had with Roper happened after Samantha had passed away, and there was other investigations that had happened during that time period. So I mean, I'm sorry it's frustrating to you, but if you want to get other records, you need to fill out records requests asking for the specific information that you're looking for.
How am I expected to ask for specific information that I am not aware of?
Well, what I'm saying is that the information that I have provided to you is all we have on the incident that you've requested for.
Okay, so I've turned in another request, just...
No, you had it, you showed it to me, and then you took it back.
Alright,
You
so-
haven't turned it in.
So now what I'm
Okay.
asking for is, apparently, it's like, so I have to only find out so much information from you guys to submit a request to get that bit of information.
Well,
Find
what
out
I'm
more
saying is
information
that
to
we're
submit
not,
a request.
that it doesn't work that way. In order for you to get public information or public records, you have to ask for the information or know what you're asking for. I mean, I can't just release records to you that you haven't requested.
And I can't request records if I'm not aware of what the records are to be requested.
Okay.
Like, I really feel like, to some extent, like, you guys could
Right.
do good by deputizing me temporarily so I could be involved in this. So, yeah,
Well, and the next question that I have for you, and I'll, like I said, I will try to provide any records to you that you want or request. I mean, obviously, I've got to go through and make sure that the information being released can be released to the public, but I will try to get as much information to you as I can. The next question I have for you is what is your long-term goal, or what are you trying to prove by this? Because Officer Marks doesn't work here anymore. He hasn't worked here for a long time. And so I can't go and I can't do any disciplinary procedures or anything like that, even if I can prove that he had done something wrong, which I don't know that he has. But even if I could prove that he did something wrong, he doesn't work here for me anymore, so I can't discipline him. The next thing is if he committed crimes that you're talking about, then I would need to prove that first of all he committed the crime, and then but again, there's statute of limitations and stuff that apply as well.
Not if the investigation was being subverted for the past 8 years.
There's a statute of limitations that apply that I would not. I mean, it sounds like to me that the supervisor, Chief Roper at the time, did talk to you, did talk to other people, most likely talked to Officer Marks about it. Whatever he decided to do as far as disciplinary, that was up to him because he was the chief at the time. So what I'm saying is if there had been criminal offenses that had taken place, there's a statute of limitations that apply. So that gives law enforcement a time period to investigate and to file charges. If charges haven't been filed within the statute of limitations, then I can't go back and file new charges.
So if somebody, let's say the chief of police, was obstructing and withholding information and destroying information that's not on record that you guys don't
Do you have any evidence whatsoever that shows that the chief of police destroyed any evidence?
I previously requested I asked Roper for the findings of his investigation.
What investigation are you asking for though, again? So are you asking about the investigation into Officer Marks not issuing a citation? Or are you asking about Samantha's death, the investigation into her death? And
Is there any way that I can just request that window of investigations?
Yeah, you fill out a records request asking for maybe any involvements involving Samantha Blackburn for a certain date period. So, I mean, there's ways to, there are ways to do that. You just have to ask for the right information before I can give it to you.
So,
But even with those information or with those records, my question is what, I mean, I don't see that I would create a new investigation into Officer Marks or Chief Roper because the statute of limitations, even if they had committed a crime, would be up by now. And I'm not saying that they committed a crime.
like I said, I have previously asked Roper for the findings of his investigation, and I did file a report or a public records request several years ago. I never got anything for that.
And I don't know anything about that. I can tell you that one public records request that you gave to me, I gave you the report in its entirety. There is no other report specific to that incident.
So yeah, this is asking for different information, more information that I had not asked for in my other public records request.
So let's, so from what I understand is you're asking for the statements from these people into the report that I already gave to you. Is that what I understand? Or are these talking about other investigations?
Apparently, from what I understand, Officer Marks never questioned Chandry. He never questioned Zach.
Okay.
It was Roper who went around asking everybody, and Walker. There was an Officer Walker who also questioned Zach.
Okay, so I will look.
So the thing is,
let me look and see under the investigation into Samantha's death if there any statements are from any of these people listed under that incident, because that might be where it's at. Because what I'm saying is, they talked to these people probably after she had passed away.
right.
Because it was only just a few days after the incident that I gave you already when Samantha passed away.
I don't see how if Roper knew what I know now, which he did, because he basically told me everything that he knew in this recording that I transcripted, that Marks wasn't disciplined.
Well, and that's up to him. So I mean, if
a death occurs and there's victims,
okay, but what you're accusing Marks of is that somebody died because he failed to
arrest her when she was on felony probation.
But that incident didn't cause her death. You got to understand that was a couple of days later when she passed away, and so
would she have passed away if she was incarcerated?
Don't know.
Would she have been able to poison herself to death with alcohol if she was incarcerated?
I don't know, and I don't think anybody knows those answers.
Well,
because there are people that pass away when they're in custody. I mean, so what
from
I'm saying,
alcohol?
what I'm saying is we don't know that because you're speculating of what could have happened had something been different, but it's not. You can't change what did happen. So we don't know that.
So as far as suppositions go and speculation, for instance, Roper was saying that he believed that I told Chandri that Samantha had alcohol. So he interjected, I was talking, he interjected me and he said, I think she heard it from you.
Okay.
So Roper was doing speculation during his thing. He says, I think you more or less, I think you told Chandri that Samantha had alcohol. So obviously Roper didn't believe Chandri had an actual eyewitness of the account. He was under the impression and belief that Chandri had told him that Samantha, that basically Marks was offering her to dump the alcohol out onto the ground.
Okay, so you were talking about this incident again, the same incident that you were there at the apartment, and I gave you that entire report. So I'm questioning what else do you want from it? Do you want other information, other investigations, or are you wanting this specific information incident because I've already given it to you?
Okay, so how, and I don't know, maybe you've answered this, I don't know. If Roper's conducting an investigation that could have potentially had disciplinary actions,
Mm-hmm.
and he finds out from 3 different individuals who had not been in contact with each other. I was living down in Salt Lake, and then when I did come up here, I went to a funeral, and so Roper finds out from 3 different people that she was drunk that night and that Marks lied to him because there was more witnesses than just one officer. There was 3 citizens specifically that I'm aware of now. There's probably more in you guys' records, but I have no idea. So if that's the case, how come there isn't an investigative report for how come there isn't a, I don't know, like I said, I don't know you guys' magical terminology. There's no investigative report from Roper saying and stating the evidence that he got. Is a witness statement not evidence? Can that not be taken as evidence because you witness a crime, or you witness what you believe to be a crime, some ill action on the part of somebody, you know?
What I'm saying is that is not part of the report or record that you've requested. If there is something, if you're talking about a disciplinary procedure, then that is done, it's not part of an incident. That's done in-house or whatever, that's done, and I don't know because I haven't looked in Marks's personnel file to see if there's anything, because you haven't requested for anything like that. And even if you did, I'm not sure that I can give it to you because it's a personnel issue or personnel matter. But that's not part of.
So I thought
that's not part of the information or the incident that officer responded
right,
to,
but
and that's what you've requested.
If there are concerned members of the public and the police are public servants, then you guys can give information that's necessary and pertinent to the public. So, for instance, if the victim's family should be given, what do they call it? Restitution, then, but if that never happens, so, and so it's like this, you guys probably have all the information you need to know to have done the right thing, and yet nobody really believes that the right thing was done.
It sounds like to me you're the one that doesn't believe the right thing has been done, and that's what I'm trying to help figure out what I can do to like I said, I mean, I'll give you as much information as I possibly can. I just need to know what you want, for sure.
So yeah, everything from the time that Officer Marks did his welfare check to the end of Roper's or whoever else investigated into that, and yeah.
Into what? Into this incident of the welfare check? Or what are you asking for? So,
Yeah, disciplinary actions, if those were taken, like,
okay.
I'm asking
And
for whatever will give me closure.
I could look to see if there's any disciplinary action that happened. Again, I don't know that I can release that because I don't know that that's public record for sure. I will find out, because a lot of times people's disciplinary procedures and stuff are not open to the public. They're
Why?
not. Sometimes they're not. So what I'm saying is I will look, and if it is able that I can release it to you, I will see if there's anything that I can release, but I don't even know if that there's anything that it even exists. But I'll look.
Yeah, see what you can find for me.
Okay. All right. So you're looking
I'm
for.
not okay with what I know.
Okay, so let's.
Because I feel like I know enough.
Okay, so let's get this straight. So I've already given you the one report.
I've gotten the report
Okay,
from
so-
Officer Marks stating that it didn't state that she doesn't have alcohol, but basically
Okay.
so admits the truth of the matter that I know, and that I know at least two other people know.
Okay. So the
that's all
welfare
right.
check report has already been provided. So you're looking for Officer Marks, disciplinary,
Yeah,
if any.
if any.
Yep, I don't even know that there will be, because like I said, I don't know. And then anything else that you're asking for? You said statements by,
Statements by Zach, Crane, Chandry, Wilcox, Kim Nate. Kim Nate took the phone call. She was the dispatch on duty. She took the phone call from Zach.
okay, so, and I believe, did you go back over to the sheriff's office and
I'm
ask
going
whether
to
or
be
not?
going over there.
Okay.
I've already requested that, so I'm going to be going over there right after. I'm done.
And again, that would be their record to release because dispatch is county, and I don't have any. That's their record to release.
And then Officer Walker. So Officer Walker had taken Zach's phone and apparently gotten all the transcriptions and.
He did take Zach's phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just like I don't know. I'm sorry. It bothers me that I feel like you guys should just like already know this stuff and already be able to tell me. And I realize,
Well,
yeah,
you
it's been several
understand
years.
too that this is 8 years ago,
I know,
and again, I wasn't the officer that investigated any of this.
Right.
So I'll look. Okay. So you said Chandry.
And then Officer Walker,
Okay.
Zach Crane.
Okay.
So statements and yeah, I wish I had like unabated access to and knowledge of how to run the system that you guys have,
Mhm.
where all your information's just stacked up that nobody ever looks at. I feel like nobody ever looks at it. And yeah, I guess that's my opinion, but that's how I feel.
Okay. Well.
So, but there's my statement, and look for that. I mean, but there it doesn't. I feel like I've already asked for that, and yet here I am giving it.
Okay. So what statement is on this? Is
That
there a written statement?
that
or
is the
this
original.
recording that you just
That's
played?
the recording we just played. It's in two formats. The original format that was on my phone, that's timestamped and dated on my phone from the time it occurred on the day of her funeral, and then it's also one that I put into an MP3 format because it's more user friendly.
Okay. All right. Well, I will see what I can find, and again, I don't know what's there, so let me do some research on it, and then I will let you know.
Okay.
So, all right.
Thank you, Officer Wills.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, like I said, I know it's frustrating for you. I don't know what more to help you with unless you tell me what you want. So.
Right, and I don't understand why the police just can't be forthcoming and just honest to at least the people who are involved.
You appreciate your time.
Thank you.